92 years. That is a lot of winters. A lot of mornings, waking up and chasing something that, in the end, didn't even exist. I wasn't warned. Nobody was. I was 20 years old then. Eisenhower was president. The world was different. Simpler, some might say. But not really. No, not really at all. My Benedict. I spent 40 years building a castle. I thought I was being smart, being safe. But looking back at the wreckage of my 60s, I realized I wasn't building a castle at all. I was building a cage. And I locked the door. Most people just like you, are walking into a trap right now. You think you have time to fix your mistakes. You think money is a shield that will protect you from the loneliness of being 90. It won't. I remember 1974. Sitting in a leather chair, looking at my investments, feeling like a king. I thought I had figured it all out. But I was blind. Making a mistake that almost every hardworking man makes. A mistake that, if you don't today, will leave you sitting in a quiet, empty house, wondering why no one calls, and why the money you sacrificed your youth for doesn't feel like enough. I've buried my wife, buried 2 children, outlived most friends. When you get to be my age, you see patterns. The same mistakes, generation after generation. 2026, the world's spinning faster than ever. But some things never change. I'm not an economist, not a financial advisor, just an old man who's watched the wheel turn again and again. I am not here to give you financial advice from a textbook. I am here to give you a warning from the grave before I'm even in it. Because there are 5 specifics, 5 lies we tell ourselves about money and success that will destroy your peace of mind when you need it most. The 5 truths I'm about to share. I wish someone had told me when I was 20. Would have changed everything. Back in '54, my first house cost $8,000. Brand new. My first car was $1,400. Seems like nothing now. But the lessons, the real lessons about money and life, they cost me everything to learn. Let me tell you what I've learned before it's too late for you. Most people call it the golden years. I call it the shadow of comfort. When I was 62, I remember looking at my bank account thinking, I finally made it. Started spending on things that didn't matter to impress people I didn't even like. The expensive car, bigger house, finest clothes. Oh dear, comfort is a drug. The more you have, the more you need just to feel normal. We were all competing in a race with no finish line. Burning our capital, our real security, just to maintain an image. When you're 92, that expensive car. Just metal in a garage you can't drive to. That big house? More rooms to be lonely in. I see you doing it now. Upgrading your life before securing your soul. Trading future freedom for temporary importance. Every dollar spent showing off is a brick removed from your future safety. But the shadow of comfort is only the beginning. There's a second trap, more dangerous because it looks like a virtue. It involves the people you love most. A man who has no boundaries for his family eventually has no respect from his family. I see so many of you doing this. You are emptying your cup to fill theirs, but when your cup is dry, you will find that they never learned how to pour anything back. But as painful as this is, there is a third trap. One that is silent. One that eats your wealth from the inside out while you are busy looking at the stock market. It's the one mistake I made in 1982 that cost me more than any bad investment ever could. The third trap is what I call the health gamble. In 1982, I was 48 years old, strong as an ox, working 12-hour days. I thought I was invincible, so I skipped checkups, ignored pains, ate whatever was quick and easy, slept 4 hours a night. By 1989, I had my first heart attack. The medical bills wiped out my savings. The recovery time destroyed my business. And the medications, good Lord, the medications cost more than my mortgage. No amount of money can buy back your health once it's gone. And poor health will drain every penny you've saved faster than any recession. I see young men today working themselves to death for money they might not live to spend. What good is a fat retirement account if you're too sick to enjoy it? There is a monster that lives in the shadows of every retirement plan. I didn't see it in 1982, and I doubt you see it now. It is the silent wealth eater. When I was in my 50s, I was a machine. I worked 16 hours a day. I thought that by sacrificing my sleep, my diet, and my peace of mind, I was being a hero for my family. I told myself that once I reached a certain number in my bank account, I would finally take care of my body. But here is the bitter truth I learned at 92. Your health is the only currency that truly matters. If you spend your health to gain your wealth, you will eventually spend all your wealth just to try and buy back a tiny fragment of your health. I watched friends retire with millions, only to spend their golden years sitting in sterile hospital hallways. They had the money for the finest cruises, but their bodies didn't have the strength to leave the bed. They were rich in paper, but paupers in life. And then, there is the other side of this monster. Inflation. I remember when a loaf of bread was pennies. I thought $10,000 was a fortune. I didn't realize that the world has a way of shrinking your hard-earned savings while you sleep. If you are just saving money without understanding how fast the world is moving, you are losing. But the biggest mistake wasn't just about the money. It was the arrogance of thinking I was invincible. I ignored the small pains. I ignored the stress. I thought I could outrun time. Now, I look at young men running themselves into the ground for a promotion or a bigger bonus. They are trading their knees, their hearts, and their sanity for numbers on a screen. They don't realize that at 92, I would trade every single dollar I ever made, just to walk through a park without pain for 10 minutes. You think you are winning the race, but you are running toward a finish line where the prize is a wheelchair and a bottle of pills. But as heavy as this sounds, there is a fourth trap. It's a trap of the mind. It's the reason why some of the richest men I knew died with a frown on their face, and why some of the poorest men I've met are the ones who truly lived. The fourth trap is what I call the isolation tax. In 1992, I was at the peak of my second fortune. I had the corner office, the expensive suits, the respect of my peers, but I had no time for distractions, no time for friendships that didn't advance my career, no time for family members who weren't productive. I thought relationships were a luxury I could buy later. Lord, I was wrong. By the time I was ready to invest in relationships, most of the people worth knowing had moved on. My children had their own lives. My old friends had stopped calling. I found myself surrounded by people who wanted something from me, not people who wanted me. Money can buy a lot of things, but it can't buy back lost decades of human connection. When you are young, you want to be known by everyone. You want the big office, the loud parties, and a phone that never stops ringing. I was the same way. In my 50s, I thought my network was my net worth. I spent thousands of dollars taking people to dinner, buying gifts, and trying to stay relevant in circles that didn't actually care about me. But here is the cold, hard truth about aging. When the money slows down or your health falters, that big circle of friends starts to shrink. Faster than you can imagine. I watched men, powerful men, who thought they had hundreds of friends, end up with no one to visit them in the hospital except a paid nurse. They had spent their lives investing in contacts instead of connections. They had thousands of acquaintances, but not a single soul who truly knew their heart. I made this mistake too. I prioritized the people who could do something for me over the people who just wanted to be with me. I ignored my old, quiet friends for the new, flashy ones. And by the time I realized my mistake, those old friends were gone. Now, at 92, I see the tragedy of the modern world. We are more connected than ever, yet more isolated than any generation in history. You are spending hours talking to strangers on a screen, while the person sitting across the table from you is starving for your attention. Wealth isn't just about what is in your bank account. True wealth is having a hand to hold when the lights grow dim. If you are building a life where you are the king, but you are sitting on a throne of ice, you are going to freeze. Stop trying to be popular. Start trying to be present. Look at the people who stay when the music stops. Those are the only ones who matter. But there is a fifth trap. It's the one that keeps you awake at 3 a.m. It's the weight of the things you didn't do, the words you didn't say, and it's the most expensive debt you will ever have to pay. The fifth trap is what I call the regret tax. In 1954, I thought I had all the time in the world. I postponed joy. I delayed dreams. I said, someday, to the things that mattered most. Now, my somedays are gone. No amount of money can buy back a single yesterday. Remember that. The heaviest thing I carry at 92 isn't my body. It is the debt of things I never did. We spend our lives afraid of making mistakes, afraid of failing, afraid of looking foolish. But as you stand near the end of the road, you realize that the failures don't hurt. It's the silence of the doors you never opened that haunts you. I remember a business idea I had in my 40s. I was so sure of it, but I was comfortable. I had a steady paycheck. I was afraid that if I tried and failed, people would laugh. So, I stayed in my cage. Now, 40 years later, I don't remember the names of the people I was trying to impress, but I remember every detail of that dream I killed. We treat our time like it is an infinite resource. Say, I'll do it next year. Or, I'll travel when I retire. But time is a thief. It steals your energy, your health, and eventually, your opportunity. I see you waiting for the perfect moment. There is no perfect moment. There is only now, and then there is too late. The most expensive debt you will ever pay is the interest on your fear. You pay it in sleepless nights. You pay it in what-ifs. You pay it by watching other people live the life you were too afraid to claim for yourself. Don't be afraid of the no. Don't be afraid of the fall. Be afraid of the day you sit in a chair like this, with all the money in the world, but no stories to tell. A life spent playing it safe is the most dangerous life of all. You think you are being responsible by waiting, but you are actually being reckless with the only thing you can't buy back, your time. But there is one final trap, the sixth one. And it's the reason why even the most successful men die feeling like they missed the point. It's about the legacy you leave behind, not in a bank account, but in the world itself. So, here we are. At the end of the road. I have told you about the traps, the comfort, the family boundaries, the health, the isolation, and the debt of regret. But there is one final thing I need to tell you. One truth that took me 92 years to fully understand. Your legacy is not the money you leave in a bank account. It is not the name on a building or the car in the driveway. Those things are just dust. They blow away the moment you are gone. Your true legacy is the light you leave in the eyes of the people who knew you. It is the kindness you showed when no one was watching. It is the courage you had to live an authentic life, instead of a life designed by someone else's expectations. I spent so much of my time worrying about leaving something behind. I didn't realize that the most important thing I could leave behind was a version of myself that was at peace. If you are listening to this, you still have the one thing I would give everything for. You have tomorrow. Don't waste it chasing ghosts. Don't waste it building a cage. Wake up. Look at your life. Look at the people you love. And start living as if every second is a gift. Because it is. I'm just a witness. I have lived the truth, so you don't have to learn it the hard way. The clock is ticking for all of us. But it's not about how much time you have left. It's about what you do with the time that remains. Thank you for sitting with an old man today. If these words helped you, pass them on. Because wisdom is the only thing that grows when you give it away. Before I go, I want to share something special. For my first 200 subscribers, I'm offering lifetime free access to my complete financial wisdom course. After that, there'll be a membership fee. This isn't about money for me. At 92, what would I do with it? This is about passing on what cost me everything to learn before it's too late for you. Subscribe now. Tell me in the comments what resonated with you. Share with friends who need these truths. Goodbye for now. And please, don't wait until you're 92 to start being happy.
I've spent my life learning these lessons the hard way. Now, I want to help you avoid the same stones in your pockets. I'm opening up a small inner circle, a lifetime membership for those who want to live with intention. For the first 200 of you who join us today, it's completely free for life. After that, I'm afraid it will become a paid membership. Subscribe now and join our community. Don't let this be another thing you meant to do but forgot. Share this with a friend who needs to hear this. Don't let them miss out on this journey with us. And please, tell me in the comments, which of these regrets hit you the hardest today? I'll be reading. I'll be here, watching the sunset, hoping you make better choices than I did. Take care of yourselves and each other. It's all that really matters in the end.
Disclaimer. This video is a historical documentary based on a fictionalized retelling of real events surrounding Operation Gold, the 1955 Berlin Tunnel. Please note that the visual and audio elements of the character Benedict have been created using advanced AI technology to bring this historical narrative to life. While the historical context is real, the character's dialogue is a creative dramatization for storytelling purposes. This content is for educational and entertainment purposes only.